Coach Parker, you've already had a couple of very impactful mound visits this season, including the one you had with Brown in the first inning. What did you guys talk about, and how did you get him going right after that? The issues in the first inning.
Yeah, I kind of with McCade just noticed something was going on with the tack on his hand. He just seemed like he was trying to get some moisture on his hand. So I took out a rosin bag just to give him a chance to catch his breath. And then, basically the only thing I do in game from a mechanical standpoint is just try to get guys in a better rhythm and a better tempo. I thought his timing was a little bit off. I thought he was a little bit stalled out and stagnant. And I tried to get him in a better rhythm. And I knew if he did that, everything would sync up. So that was basically all we talked about. Talked a little bit about just his timing and away he went.
John Blau.
These are two really great performances back to back for McCade. I think 28 strikeouts now in 14 innings. What can you pinpoint? We talked to Jeff Mercer a little bit about it in terms of his development, but what do you pinpoint in terms of why he's been able to be so effective to start this season?
One is just his physical gifts are unbelievable. And, I think we were going to see a lot more of a breakout performance last spring before it all got shut down. So the crazy thing is everything that you're seeing him do is for the first time. And we've believed he was capable of stuff, for months. So just incredibly physically gifted. He's an incredible worker, very detail oriented, and he's got a couple big time weapons. The fastball, the velocity is really abrasive. And then, he's got a slider and a curveball that are both real weapons. So it's a tough mix. It makes it tough on guys when you're that hard, you're that big, and you got that many different tricks up your sleeve. So it's just been awesome to see his growth.
Any more questions for Coach Parker? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, just in terms of coaching this, obviously Coach Mercer, you have to cancel or postpone yesterday's games because of this. I mean, how surprising was that, and kind of what has this been like for you, I guess, to be the kind of the head guy, even though that's not normally your position?
Yeah, it was really surprising. I mean, we were all together as a staff yesterday morning when we got the call. So, but if there's one thing kind of the last year has done for us, is just to expect the unexpected. And so, these are things that we've talked about. We've got protocols in place. Honestly, from a game day operational standpoint, not a whole lot changed, just kind of the flow of and the channels of dialogue and information. That's about it. So our players, really when you show up for the games, and I know this is our staff's philosophy, is on game day, players win the games, and we were ready to play. They were ready to play. They answered the bell, especially considering, what they've been through the past year. And then even the last 48 hours, they were ready to go, and they went out and played well.
Tom Brew, and then back to Carl.
Hey, Coach, I know this. Jeff talked earlier last week about the offseason and all the work that was put in to be ready and such. But still, now that you're a couple games in, are you at all surprised as to how well so many of these guys are throwing, with not only with command and control and such, but just as dominant as they've been? It's March.
I do think there's been a little bit of a margin for error for us, just because our preseason on-ramping was longer than it normally is. So starting on March 5th instead of opening weekend gave us a chance to iron some things out, to where, we're further along than we would normally be in the second weekend. We feel like this is more like the fourth, fifth, or sixth weekend. But I'm proud of the guys. They've pitched well. They've embraced their roles. They've been outstanding, and the defense has been incredibly supportive. So those two things together, our catching, our defense, and then how they've thrown the ball has been awesome. I don't know that I'm surprised necessarily. I'm proud of it. That's kind of what we expect or what we prepare for. But they've certainly done a great job.
All right, last one. Actually, we'll do two more here for Justin, Carl, and then John.
So Coach Parker, just can you kind of talk about who kind of filled in the role of helping out the hitters throughout the day with Coach Mercer not being there in the dugout?
Yeah. So Coach Held and Coach Simmons ran our hitters meeting, our pregame meeting. Coach Mercer was involved in the game planning of that. Has watched a ton of video. Kind of had our game plan ready. That's this year feels a little bit more like a football season for us, to where we don't have any midweek games, and we've worked on some of these things, installing approaches and different mindsets. We've worked on it kind of throughout the week, knowing that we're going to face one opponent. So a lot of that stuff was installed prematurely and on the way into the weekend. And then from a game day standpoint, Coach Held called the offensive signs and took responsibility for that.
All right, last one for Coach Parker goes to John.
Yeah, and I think it was the 7th inning. You guys had a ton of runs there, or was it the 6th inning? And coming back with McCade, it seemed like he was trying to keep himself loose, like he was just in there trying to throw balls, I guess, against the wall in the dugout. I mean, were you worried about the inning going too long in terms of putting him back in there, or kind of felt pretty good about him being good to go as soon as you guys were ready to go?
I mean, I felt pretty good about him. I mean, that's his pre-inning routine, regardless of a 5-minute inning or a 30-minute inning. He's got his same routine. Looks like he ended up just right at or right under 100 pitches. So, he's prepared. These guys are prepared. They're physically ready to go. I was just a little bit, if anything, just kind of wanted to get him out because of the cold. But as far as the length of the inning, they're prepared to do that. And I felt really good about it. He was obviously in a pretty good rhythm. So.
All right. Thank you, Coach Parker.
Yep.
Guys, just 1 second. We'll have McCade Brown for you. Again, just line it up with the questions in the chat or raise your hand feature. All right, we have McCade Brown here. First question goes to Tom Brew.
Hey, McCade, congratulations on a nice outing there. Can you talk to us just a little bit about where you're at, not only physically, but just mentally in regards to handling and controlling a game out on the mound now compared to, say, this time a year ago?
Yeah, I'd say I'm definitely confident and feel ready to go out and control a game and, work as a starter and everything. And Coach Parker's been great with working on with me and working through different situations too to remain calm and be able to just keep executing pitches through it. So definitely feel really strong there.
John, go ahead.
Coach Parker was talking about just that first inning mound visit, I guess, like maybe a little bit of moisture, just the ball wasn't coming off right. I guess from your perspective, what was kind of going on there, and how'd you kind of mentally refocus to kind of do what you did the rest of the game?
Yeah, definitely having a little bit of tough time getting the grip, but was able to find it a little bit. And, Coach Parker came out and kind of talked to me about some mechanical stuff too, to just stay locked in. And that kind of helped just center in what I needed to focus on and be able to execute some pitches.
All right, Schifron, go ahead.
Was there any part of you that was upset about being pulled after 7 innings and not trying to get to finish the game?
No. Kind of talked before about that being my last one, and I definitely agree with that. And the guys came in and really pitched well afterwards too. So you can't be upset about that at all.
John.
You were talking about obviously, being able to pitch the way you've been pitching, but what specifically do you feel like you're doing well? Is it just location in terms of getting the pitches where you want them to be? Is it the break on your pitches, like mixing pitches? What would you say is bringing you so much success?
Yeah, I think definitely just being able to control the ball in the zone has been helpful. You're looking at the past, that's been a pretty big weakness of mine, and being able to do that now this year after kind of fixing some mechanics with Coach Parker. And then also I think just the way Coach Parker calls the game, tunneling pitches off of each other helps a lot too. So.
All right, last question goes to John.
Yeah, and what is it like when you're just racking up strikeouts like you were? I mean, I know basketball players talk about being in the zone. I mean, are you kind of in a zone, or are you still thinking through everything, or is it kind of flowing? Like, how would you describe what it's like when you're actually doing what you're doing out there?
No, you're not really thinking about it too much. You're just kind of getting the pitch that's put down, and you're focusing on executing that pitch. And as soon as that one's thrown, you move to the next one and worry about executing that one. So it's not too much thought into it, I guess.
All right. Thank you, McCade.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.